This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest news from Alpena Community College with Dr. Olin Joyton. And now today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Jeffrey Mindock, the Artistic Director from Thunder Bay Theater. Hi Jeffrey and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
I always love talking with you because you're always so excited about everything going on in our community and at Thunder Bay Theater, and you're always doing some wonderful things, and I understand we're going to have Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, Winnie the Pooh is our first production of the new year, which we're very excited about. It is completely cast with Alpena children and young adults. So we have 13 individuals ranging from age 10 to 21 in the show, and there's actually only 8 characters, so we have double cast the show.
Wow.
So every other night you can see a different cast in the show.
What a great idea.
Well, I actually had 43 kids audition for the show, which in Alpena just blew my mind.
Yes.
You know, and there was so much talent that I didn't feel right not, trying to double cast, and I wish I could have put everybody in the show because it's so wonderful to see, a small community like this have so many kids that are not only interested in the theater arts, but also to be pretty good at it, It's a wonderful thing for me as, an artistic director.
Oh, yes. So will there be any cast members then from your core company?
No, our core company right now is only technical staff. Our performers will not be coming in until around February 23rd because the second show in our season is going to be the Alpena High School Maskers Club production of Back to the 80s, which we're very excited about.
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful idea.
Yeah, I have a few of the advisors on my board at Thunder Bay Theater, and we started talking about how we can really engage the high school students who maybe want to go to college in theater, but they're not completely sure about it, or the kids who aren't performers and still love the theater. And I said, well, how about if in our main stage season we invite you guys to do your show? So now they get a full 2-week run instead of just one weekend at the high school. They are going to get, mentorship and guidance from myself and all of my professional staff. And they're just as excited as the kids are about, really giving back to this community. Because as I've said since I've been here, that's really what drew me back to Alpena, is just this theater community in this town.
And the wonderful thing about the Masters Club is they design the brochures, the tickets, the posters, they do the marketing, they do everything, which you folks do too, in a small theater and a core company like Alpena. So, what a wonderful transition.
Yeah, the professionals that I brought in, we have the time and the, the education to teach them about design concepts and design elements and just, all those little details that, we sometimes let slip through the cracks. It's easy to do that, but, working with them, we're going to do our best to make sure that there are no cracks, left unsealed, and it's going to be great.
If they decide to pursue a career in theater, look at the stuff they can put on their resume.
Exactly. It builds your resume, it builds your contacts. Who you know in the theater industry is almost more important than, what you do or what's on your resume.
So let's go back to Winnie the Pooh.
Sure.
Tell me, what are we going to see for Winnie the Pooh?
Well, we love doing things the TBT way, So what we've actually decided to do with this production is rather than putting the kids in, animal costumes, we've decided to give them some human characteristics. Ooh. So myself and the costume designer sat down and talked about what each character kind of says to us as a person. And Rabbit is very frenetic and energetic and, always kind of on the edge, ready to make a move. So we have turned Rabbit into, a war veteran or, a doomsday prepper, if you will, with the full army hat and, ready to go at any moment's notice. Eeyore, he's usually very, melancholy and a little down in life. So, we're going to give him, some dirty clothing and, some oversized hats and things to kind of, give the essence that he's been on the streets for a little bit and all those kinds of things. Winnie the Pooh's going to be wearing, a sports shirt and headband because he's on a diet. And, all those kinds of fun things so that the kids get to play with those and really stretch their imagination. For me, that's one thing that as a director, I always try to help the kids with is just really allowing themselves to be creative and be safe in that environment, to be silly. Because that's what theater is, it's having fun, it's making believe.
So now, is this other than the costuming, is this a production that's been seen somewhere else before?
Nope, not at all. This is completely original, and that's the best part about what I've been trying to do at Thunder Bay Theater is I bring in these it's actually kids to adults, as the professionals, and bring them all in from all over the country, and we just sit down in a room for a few hours and talk about what we think would be fun or what would be cool. So almost everything that we're doing at Thunder Bay Theater right now is original in terms of ideas. Obviously, the material, people have done this script before. But, our design, my technical director is building a beautiful 100-acre wood set, oh, it's going to be beautiful. So that's what's really exciting, about a place like Thunder Bay Theater is that we have the ability to be free and creative and just, play, artistically. It's great.
Now, when can we come to see Winnie the Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh is running from February 5th to the 15th, and that is our normal show schedule, Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
Thursday through Saturday evening at 7:30, and then Sundays at 2 p.m.
So with double casting, all the grandparents, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, get your tickets.
Exactly, and your teachers too, and your friends.
Yes. Oh yes,
everybody.
Because it'll sell out, so it's very important.
It is. We always, our kids shows are always, well attended. So, and once people hear about it and see it, I think that it's gonna go fast.
Okay, moving forward to Maskers Club again. So back to the 80s. What kind of a production is this going to be?
Well, it's a big musical, so I believe that there are close to 20 kids in the production, which is great. In a high school production, you always try to get as many people on stage as possible. And it is a show filled with all of those classic 80s hits. It feeds a little bit off of Footloose that we did in the summer, and it has even more of that. And it's got a wonderful story about all the kids who are in high school and they're going to prom and they're dealing with all of those high school problems that we all have, the first boy crush and the mean cheerleaders. And we're doing the same thing. We're sitting down with the kids and we're sitting down with the advisors and we're saying, what can we help you do? What can we provide for you? So it's a big old collaboration, between the professionals and the Alpena, wonderful community members.
Okay. And when will that production be?
That production will be running from February 26th until March 8th.
And it's going to be at Thunder Bay Theater on the professional stage, which will be exciting for the young people, too.
Yeah, I know the kids are excited because they get their first 2-week run in I don't know how long. And the Alpena High School administrative staff has been so wonderful. Matthew Foley, gave it a big thumbs up because, when we did High School Musical, he and I got to know each other. And everybody just wants the kids to have the best experience possible, and I think that's going to happen.
And as this is the new year, people thinking about some volunteer gigs or something new and different, give you a call.
Absolutely, yeah. We're always looking for people who may, want to help put up a wall or, may want to help organize our shop because stuff gets crazy around around the theater. We're also, having some talks about, doing some small renovations to really bring the theater, give it a new face, give it a new fresh set of paint. So, like you said, volunteering hours, donations, all those things help make the theater a thing to see in Alpena.
And dial 354-2267 to get those tickets booked.
You nailed it.
Thank you, Jeffrey, and once again, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
I'll be right back following these messages.
And welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm Olin Jordan, president of Alpena Community College. My guests this morning, returning, are the Reverend Paul Lance, pastor at United Congregational Church here in town, and Dr. Greg Adamus, retired educator and musician extraordinaire.
Emphasis on retired.
And welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And our topic is the celebration of the day in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Tomorrow at Alpena Community College. And let me start out by confessing that I actually remember as a teenager when Dr. King was alive and conducting his campaigns. I was living in southern states like Virginia and Louisiana at that time, and remember quite a lively commentary on his activities from friends and relatives. How about either of you? Does either of you have a personal memory when he was alive?
Well, I remember him alive, but I'm an Alpena person, and so I was not connected to much of the Deep South. We saw it in the news more than anything else.
I see. How about you, Greg?
Well, I'm the youngster of the group. I was only 9 years old when he unfortunately was assassinated. I do remember that on the news vividly, but only that.
Yes. Well, very good. And before we get into the details of the program, I'd like each of you to speak a little bit on the relevance of his life and his message for America today, and in particular, Alpena and environs. Paul?
Well, one of the things that strikes me is we remember he did receive the Nobel Peace Prize, which means he's a world citizen. He was recognized on a world stage. And America tends to think, well, he's one of ours, he's one of our local heroes that people look to, much like India looks to Gandhi. But in fact, he was a movement that spoke to the pacifist movement. Nonviolence was a key part of it. His articulation of values, some of the best of the American dream, was something he held up. And I think when it was a junior high school, and I was in the oratorical contest, we would quote him because he was an important mover and a shaker, and articulated American values, bigger than just racial issues.
I know that, speaking of oratory, he won a contest, a speaking contest, as a teenager I think the title of his address was The Negro and the American Constitution.
Again, the American Constitution, the American dream. He said it's a check that hasn't yet been cashed. It's a promissory note.
He was about 14 years old when he won that award, I believe, and went on, showed early promise of his ability, speaking ability, his ability to inspire with words. Yes, and as I think about terrorist attacks that are going on around the world today, his world stature as a person offering a better alternative to what we're seeing strikes me as highly relevant. How about you, Greg, the relevance of Dr. King for today?
I would, in addition to everything Paul has said, certainly the civil rights movement, the civil rights legacy, the civil rights legislation that we have now in the 21st century, all that is definitely Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. And the human rights issues that, although they were already embedded in our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence and the amendments, they weren't quite followed for everybody. So I think a huge part of his legacy, and the reason why we've created a national holiday for MLK, is that when he fought for voter rights and civil rights, he fought for all of us, and we all benefit, every American, from the work he did in that area.
Right. Well, thanks to both of you for planning the activities at ACC. It's really great for ACC to be the venue of celebration now for 15 years, I believe, of this occasion in our history, and this reminder of, the moral force and the campaign for justice that's still ongoing. So I really appreciate your working with us at the college to stage these events. Paul, how about starting off with, I believe we have a 2 o'clock film showing. What's that all about?
We are at 2 o'clock. Matt Dunkel, one of your instructors in history and geography, is going to be showing a part of the film called Rabbit Proof Fence. And it seems like it's an odd way to start a Martin Luther King Jr. weekend to be talking about a racial situation that was articulated in Australia. It goes back to the time where the Aboriginal people were being treated as not only a second-class citizen, they were not citizens, and the children were being abducted if they were children of white parents. And when the folks built the rabbit-proof fence across Australia, they begat a whole lot of children along the way. And so those children were being collected by the government in order to be raised racially more and more white. The film lets us know that in fact was a movement, not just the American government in some of the sequestering of the Indians and the traditions that we have here, and the African Americans' second-class status, but around the world there were other groups doing the same. And the film articulates very clearly the thinking of the white majority that they're going to rescue these half-caste children, and it'll provoke a lot of conversation about how we treat other groups than our own.
So we can learn in this country about how other countries have handled similar issues, racial issues.
And it was parallel. The program didn't end until 1970. While the racial unrest and civil rights movement was working in America, it spilled over and closed down that particular system in 1970.
Very good. And the location, 2 p.m. tomorrow on the campus?
Matt Dunkel will be showing it in the Besser Technical Center side of the campus, not in the liberal arts corner across the street, and in room 122 at 2 o'clock.
Besser Technical Center on the north side of Johnson, the main entrance there, room 122.
And all people are welcome to come. There's no charge for it, and there'll be a lot of discussion at the concluding part of the film.
One other item for you to explain, Paul, and we'll get to you, Greg.
Sorry.
There's a chili supper at 5 p.m. in the Lumberjack Shack.
Lumberjack Shack, again, is a location for it. We're bringing in folks who are making chili in 3 different churches: the St. Paul Lutheran Church Religious Studies Group, our own First Congregational Building Bridges group, and the Grace Lutheran Church. All 3 of them are cooking up all kinds of chilies, and it'll be available for $8. Students would be $4. And the money is being donated to what's called Wash Your Coats, which is a project that the Salvation Army and the St. Vincent de Paul and our churches have, so that people who are homeless or people who are down on their luck can go to a laundromat and we pick up the tab for doing their laundry.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And then on to the evening, Greg. Yes. I believe you'll be running the show for a forum symposium program?
Well, actually, we're calling it a discussion circle. Okay. Something new, and we have invited 4 people to be part of a small discussion circle, and the audience is going to surround that circle with another circle.
I see.
And we're going to be talking about Alpena. The theme of the 7 p.m. program is called Creating a Beloved Community through our local lives and stories. So we've invited some people to come talk about what it is like to live in a monocultural community like Alpena, and the positives and the negatives.
Very
so
good.
It's exciting.
And we need to wrap up, but the location for the Beloved Circle?
That will be at Newport Center, room 106, which is right across the hall from the Granum Theater entrance.
Very good. Well, thank you, gentlemen, again for staging these events, and to all members of the TV audience out there, you are cordially invited to these events, no charge except for the modest one for the chili supper. And it's great to be at ACC, where Dr. King's legacy can be remembered and applied to our problems today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
This has been Town with Nancy Smithan and Dr. Olin Joyden. For a list of events taking place in Northeast Michigan, visit our website at www.wbkb11.com and click on Community. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.